Hello everybody, it's Laura here. Good evening and welcome to Q&A. It's session 2 of Q&A and I thought I'd try it a bit different this time and just record the answers. Just trying to play around really and see what reaches people better. So this week I'm recording answers, so let's see how this goes. So I'm going to read out to you some of the questions and give you some of my recommendations based on that. So we start off with a message from Kate today that says, what's the best way to move from being a freelance teacher for multiple other schools to having your own school? And if students choose to follow you, how do you manage that without becoming public enemy number one? Now that is a really good question because I think most people start out this way. I certainly started out this way myself. I was working for multiple other schools and one day I decided that I wanted to do it myself, and then the seed is sown, and from that moment onwards, if you're someone like me, you just can't stop thinking about that thing that you want to do and it's got to happen. So ultimately, if you've made that decision that you are going to walk away from teaching for others and actually just working for yourself, congratulations to you. But I recommend that you approach it slowly and with intention. Keep your teaching jobs at your other schools and open your school one day a week. So for example, with me personally, I kept all my weekday positions and I opened my school on a Saturday morning only. So everything else that I did, I worked for others. And then as my classes start to grow, I just basically dripped away from the other schools bit by bit, and then eventually it just became me working for myself. And that slow drip was about over a period, I would say, of a year. And by the end of that year, I was just about to hit 100 students, so I'd done really well in that year. The tricky bit was actually right at the beginning, because similar to what you've just said in your question about becoming public enemy number one if any of the kids want to follow you, my story is interesting because the first Saturday that I opened, word had got round that I'd left and opened my own school. And then when I arrived, there were 37, I remember it was 37 kids from this old school that I worked at on a Saturday who'd followed me. Now, I was thrilled and I was amazed. I wasn't expecting that, but I was terrified because I thought, oh my goodness, like 37 kids taken away from this other school. This is like, you know, your morals start to kick in. But it was their choice. You know, ultimately, if you're opening a school that's kind of near your current jobs, there is potential for backlash, of course there is, but your main priority here is just to remain professional, don't get involved in drama or negativity. And I would be upfront and honest with your current employers and just say, you know, I'm thinking about starting my own school and that's why I'm sort of slowly coming away from some of my jobs. It's a really exciting time for me, but you know, I'm taking it slowly and we'll see how it goes. I mean, the other reason why you don't want to leave so quickly is you can learn a lot from these people, good and bad. I mean, I took away so many things that I did not want to do in my school from the main school that I worked at before. It was an education. So, you know, don't be in a rush to leave, learn your craft on the job, and in the meantime, in the background, be working on yours. The other thing I would say actually is just watch, if you've got a contract, some of the contracts nowadays have a clause written in that if you leave, you can't start a dance school within a certain mile radius of their school. Now, this isn't common, but I have heard of it, so just be aware of that situation. But you know, ultimately, if you have done everything above board, there's been no foul play, no poaching, if a student decides to follow you, it's your decision. I think you need to be prepared that there could be some backlash, but it will die down. There's that saying, you know, today's news is tomorrow's chip paper or something like that. It might not be that, something like that. But ultimately what will happen is it will calm down eventually, as long as you are, you know, doing everything with grace and you're not, you know, going around poaching kids, which no one should ever do. So yes, so hopefully that helps you, Kate, and you know, send me a message, let me know if that's any good to you. If you've got any more questions, just let me know, pop me a little DM. So question number 2 is from Victoria. It says, when I return, I want to add more classes. Some are ability based, some are age dependent. Like you said in the podcast the other day, I like to keep things the same for ease of the parents. How would you suggest I segue these in without disruption, as some kids do back-to-back classes? Only a small school, new, with around 30 kids, so there will have to be adjustments at some point. Well, as I said in my podcast, try not to make too many adjustments. Obviously, we do understand that sometimes things happen, but if you can keep things as, samey as possible, brilliant. You're at less risk of losing a child. But what I would say is, parents are so much easier to sell to if classes are back to back. So the classes that you've already got back to back, try really hard to not separate them in any way. If you can keep them together, that is absolutely ideal. I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but just in case, if you can keep them together, I would really highly recommend that. Then adding more classes, I would either bookend the classes that already exist, or if you're going to start again fresh another day, again, try and keep a couple of classes or sessions together that either suit that age group or suit maybe a sibling's age group, because then again, it's like another reason for the family to come to the studio. If one child, say, Jessica's age 6 and she could do a ballet class, and at the same time, Jane, just a random name, is age 10 and she could do a tap class, something like that. Just maybe think outside the box at what's in the family unit and how you could perhaps upsell in that way as well. So the other thing I would say is, if you've got a spare bit in your timetable, say you've got a random 20 minutes or a random 30 minutes that's kind of sitting there empty, don't be afraid to add in like little mini classes. So a really good one is always going to be body conditioning, because that's always useful, or a stretch class, always useful to a dance student. So if you've got a spare 20 minutes, add it in. It's another income stream for you. You're going to price it differently because it's only a 20-minute class, but it's more income and it's something else for the child to do. Also, it's going to improve the child's ability, so that's always, a plus point. So that's always something else to think about. If you've got some space in your timetable, just slot little mini classes in. A mini 20-minute singing group class for those kids that are already there. Stuff like that. It's just magic. It works so much better than you might think. So have a look and see. Obviously, I know that you're in very early days at the moment, but just going forward, maybe think about that. If you want a fresh pair of eyes to have a look at your timetable, I've got quite a bit of experience in the timetables, then do feel free to either post them in the group to get everybody else's opinion, or you can privately DM me if you would prefer. Our third question this evening comes from Elaine. It says, I've just started my online children's classes. I don't know how to price it when lots of children's groups are doing it for free. I have no hall costs yet either, but I don't know how to cost it on Zoom. So I personally feel that doing things for free opens a can of worms. It's just my opinion. And if you do offer things for free, it's absolutely your choice. But me personally, if you're asking my opinion, I think doing things for free trials, things like that, there's just no commitment. I don't offer free trials at all because they won't turn up 9 times out of 10. They've got nothing to lose. If they change their mind last minute or something comes up, they haven't paid for it, they just won't come, they won't reschedule, and you've lost that client. If you've paid for something, even if it's only a couple of pounds, you're far more likely to go out of your way to attend that session because you see more value in it because you've paid for it. And then obviously that's what you need. You need them there so you can start selling the school, because that's actually when the selling begins. Getting them in is one phase, but keeping them there is the most important bit. And that's where, you excel, because you're the person that's the most, vibrant about your school and you can sell it the best. So what price? It's a difficult one. If you go in too cheap with any product, any class, anything, people are suspicious. They think maybe this class isn't very professional. Why is it so cheap? If you go in too expensive as a new school that's not known, you could price yourself out of the market straight away, because they'll be like, oh my goodness, that is such an expensive class. I don't know anything about this school. So it's tricky to get right. It is tricky. But I would recommend 100% you need to do some research on what all your competitors in the area are charging and then go somewhere in the middle. Do that research, because you don't want to be the most expensive one in the area, and you certainly don't want to be the cheapest. So do that research, find out what everyone else around you is charging, or just put a post up even on like Dance Teachers Hub, or in our group, ask everybody who is currently teaching, do you know how much it is, or how much are you charging? Because there's a lot of people in our group that are in the business for 1 to 2 years category, so they will be up and running perhaps on Zoom, and find out what are people charging, and then go somewhere in the middle that you feel comfortable with. But don't undersell yourself, because it doesn't work out in your favour. I'm currently charging full price for my online classes, mainly because I've got premises to pay for and I've got staff wages to cover. But also I feel like teaching online is like the same amount, if not more, preparation and effort. So why would I do that for free, even if I could? Absolutely not. It devalues me as a teacher, my knowledge, what I've got to offer. And it will for you as well. So make sure you do charge something. And why not try setting a package deal? This would be really, really good, because that increases commitment. So, I don't know, for example, buy 4 online classes and get the 5th one for just £1. Because you're still making money on the 5th one. If you've got 10 in the class, it's still a tenner. But at the end of the day, that's going to cover you for commitment for a full half term. And that's what you want. You want that commitment, especially with a new school and new students, new clients. If you can commit them for 5 lessons, you can really, sell yourself and turn it around and make them committed for life. Because don't forget the life expectancy, if you like, of a client. If they're starting with you at 3, if they stay with you until they're 16 years old, that is a long old time and a lot of income coming your way. So you need to get them in there for the long haul. So get them committed with some sort of package deal, something like what I just said, or I don't know, buy 3, get the full half price, anything you like that. And then that will cover you for a full half term and get those faces through your Zoom door. You know what I mean? Yeah, and then everyone's a winner, because you get paid and they get a class. Lovely. And a discount. Even better. I hope that helps. Okay, question 4, our last question this week. Another one from Elaine. She's on it this week. Any tips, as well as bring a friend, to grow the children's classes? Oh, I see. As well as bring a friend for free week kind of idea. To grow children's classes, or how to try and create a slightly older class, say 6+. It's fair to say that at the moment it's very difficult to drum up interest anywhere but online, because you're not seeing anybody. If these were normal times, I would be recommending you try and offer trials in local schools to drum up interest. You do a leaflet drop at the park at kicking out time for school, which by the way is so effective. Don't underestimate the old school leaflet drop, because it's a great way to sell your school to parents, because they get to speak to the person that is literally the most enthusiastic about your business, and that's you. So, don't underestimate the power of the leaflet drop. I did a lot of leaflet drops in the early days. I would wait for, primary schools to finish, and then I would go and chat to parents who were waiting outside. I would have great conversations. I always took a dance teacher friend with me so that they could help me. And it was brilliant. It always worked. So when COVID is over and we can get back to normal life, definitely do that if you don't already. But at present, most of your advertising is going to be online. So basically what I want to say is make sure that your ad is attracting the correct people. If you want to start a class for 6+, you need to adjust all your advertising for that target group of people, with your pictures, your wording, your themes. You might have an excellent generic advert for young children, but trust me, the more specific you get, the better. And then once you have the perfect ad, try running a competition in the local Facebook group. Everyone loves a freebie. Do a competition that says, if you think about the package from the previous question, make an even more exclusive package in this competition, but make sure they have to sign up to this competition using their email address, because then you're growing your sign up list at the same time, and that is exactly what you need. You need that sign up list growing and growing and growing, because that is going to become your waiting list. All right, so you've got to keep getting those emails. So use that, you know, run a Facebook competition, get the emails in, you're winning, okay? And if you want to share ad ideas, so if you've got an advert that you've been working on and you want to share it in the group, do share it. Feel free to post them for a bit of feedback, because, you know, at the end of the day, someone might have a great idea, or might see something or notice something in your ad that maybe doesn't quite add up. And, you know, as I said, the more specific your ad is towards its target audience, the absolute better. So do feel free to share it in the group. So guys, I hope that helped you this evening, and grateful questions there. Thank you so much for asking. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video, if you preferred it to be a video to being written, if you preferred it written to being a video in my face with dark circles. Not looking my best tonight, I do apologise for that, guys. But yes, let me know if there's anything else that I can help you with. I've said to you all the time, my DMs are always open, so please, if you've got any questions, I've been chatting away to some lovely people in our group and asking their questions privately as well, behind the scenes, so please feel free to utilize that. And then the last thing to say, obviously you might not have seen, but just in case you haven't, I'm going to be hosting a group session. It's going to be 1 hour, completely free opportunity for everybody to jump onto a Zoom call together, and for me to help you with some strategy, planning, creative blueprints for your big return. Obviously there's been some announcements this evening and everyone's still working through the small print, but it looks pretty promising that we might be able to return live after Easter. So if that is going to be the thing, then we need to get on that sooner rather than later. So if you would like to be included in that live free 1 hour group coaching session, then please do write your name in the comments below, and as soon as I've got that organized and fixed, I will invite you. It's very exciting. First one. So have a lovely evening, and I will speak to you in the group soon. Take care, guys. Bye.